Deep deep dee 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 ba dee 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 ba dee 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 doo. Dee 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 ba ba dee 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 ba dee 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 ba dee 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 ba dee dee doo. Libertarian debate.
We we need a heavy metal version of that.
We do. We do. There we go. That's how it is.
Now we need a bluegrass version of that.
No, not tonight. We'll do that tomorrow or next week. But yeah, welcome to Hit or Miss.
I'm gonna study up on my jazz funk.
Well, welcome to Hit or Miss. I'm Night Strike, and tonight I'm gonna, in a few minutes I'm gonna hand the reins over to Smegs, and Smeggy is gonna go and tell us all about libertarians. We're gonna have a libertarian chat of who's running, how they stack up, all that good stuff. So right here with me, to my left is, well, at least I think it's left. Either way, it's
I'm
Polecat.
not on the left, dude. Don't tell me I'm on the left.
You're on the left.
Three?
When you're
Hey,
on the
what's
left,
up?
you're just not left leaning, okay?
Okay, I can deal with that. Well, I don't know. It depends. I mean, if you're a classical liberal, I mean, then technically you are a leftist, right? In the
Oh,
grand
God.
scheme of all of history, right?
We don't have the time for this.
Okay.
And then we have Smeggy42.
How's it going, everyone? I hope you did your homework.
No one does.
If not, don't worry, I'll educate.
You're gonna have to educate anyways. Dead Horse, that is a good question. I don't know how I'm not a mod in my own channel. I keep getting mod status, and then I just keep getting no mod status in my own channel. Figure that one out. Anyways, tonight I'm going to mention a couple things before we get into the main libertarian topic. So, you guys are entertained. Not that we're here really to entertain you. We're just here to,
Kill time?
well, not really kill time, just to inform people and let people know what's going on. But anyways, I got news for all those people that are into Berettas. Guess what? The Tennessee factory goes live this Friday. Production starts on Friday. They're finally leaving one of those Yankee states that have. And I know, don't be a racist, Night Strike. I'm trying, but my inner Stone guy is telling me that they're Yankees and they're horrible people, But
You lost. Get over it.
yeah, my laws get over it. But anyways, they're leaving and they're moving all their production down to Tennessee, and they're going to ramp down that facility up there. And where is it, Maryland? I'll be honest. If I lived up in the Northeast and they had that bad of gun laws up there, I wouldn't be living there for very long. I'll tell you that right now. Even if I had to live out of my car or my camper like Bob does, I would much rather do that than live in a state that wants to take your rights away and give you nothing back.
Dude, I won't even drive through that shithole. Back when I was in college, driving back and forth from home to college, like the most efficient route went through Maryland, but I always went around so that I wouldn't get pulled over with guns in the car.
Yeah, shit like that doesn't fly with me, and it shouldn't fly with anyone else. And if anyone else lets it happen, then sorry to say, sad to say, but it's your own damn fault if you let it happen. Anyways, moving on. Also, I saw this last week. I didn't mention it, but I should have. But the Department of Justice got the Obama administration to turn over the files for the Fast and the Furious program that they did. So I guess it was a lawsuit or something that they were supposed to give those files and they didn't because they were saying it's classified. Well, the Department of Justice said no, it's not classified. Give us those files. And they've got them now.
He was claiming, what's that, presidential something or other.
Yeah.
I just had the word in my brain.
Glorious weed or something or other.
Yeah, no. I think it was Hillary Clinton is... No, Obama is a cunt. No, is that right? I'm not sure. It's one of those.
They're
things.
both answers are correct.
Both answers are correct. Good.
Partial credit for both.
Partial credit. All right. There we
Everyone's a winner.
go. Unless you're Anthony Weiner in New York. But
He had the worst last name to be involved in a sex scandal.
yeah, I was really hoping he would have won New York, just so you could say that you can be Anthony Weiner and show your wiener and still win New York. Oh, I don't care how many times I say that; it doesn't get old to me. 'Cause it's still funny.
Because we're all third graders.
Yeah, we all got the mentality of third graders. Why the hell not, right? Anyways, what else did I want to talk about? There's something else I wanted to mention, but I forget it. So I'm sorry, guys. I was trying to hold it off, trying to keep Smegs away from the whole libertarian thing. But guess what? It's time. We're talking about the libertarian.
They love it. The audience
Gotta
loves
let him
it.
talk about it before he melts anyway.
Just Smeggy melting. Oh my!
Hey, I'm made out of magic snow. I don't melt.
Get the buckets.
These colors don't run, and this snow don't melt.
Now eat another one of those Twinkies, and you'll be fine. You saw that video. I know you have.
No, I have no idea you're talking about Twinkies.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, Smegs, your turn. Go for it.
All right. So, John Stossel last week, or like last Friday, and then the one before that, on his show on Friday night, he did a libertarian debate. They were 1 hour each, so 2 hours total. You can watch it on YouTube. I posted the link on the Gun Channel's main page in case anyone wants to watch it after the fact. I'm hoping there's some people out there that did watch it and they have comments and questions and opinions, because that's part of the reason I wanted to do this, was just to talk about it with people that cared. So for the people who don't know, there were three people. They were like the top three candidates. It was John McAfee, who's famous for the antivirus that apparently everyone uninstalls.
At least
there
I
was-
did.
Among other things.
Among other things, yes.
There was Gary Johnson, who was the governor of New Mexico for a couple terms. He ran last time as the Libertarian candidate, and he's got the most political clout out of all of them. But I don't know. As I'll kind of get into a little bit later, I actually lost a little bit of respect for him in this debate. Just he's a little less ideological than the other ones are.
You were hoping for more, weren't you?
I was watching something with him on YouTube, and I discovered that I didn't really agree with some of the stuff that he had to say either. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely I don't know if you can call it, but like a middle of the road libertarian kind of thing, which maybe that would be the best guy, just because you might have some disenfranchised Republicans that would not feel as bad with him because he's maybe not as far out on a limb.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's I can see where that opinion would be there, because if they're going to have any chance at all, they need to bring in mainstream people, and I think that this current election is proving that people are sick of the normal establishment Republicans and Democrats. That's why Sanders is doing good. That's why Trump is doing good. So if we could get both of those people, like the type of people that support them, to jump over to libertarians, it'd be, a huge swing. And then the third one was Austin Peterson, and he is very ideological. He's 35, so everyone picks on him for being too young or whatever. But I think you need that kind of youth and that energy, and that ideology. He really stands for what he believes in.
I liked him out of all of them best.
Yeah, I had never heard of him before.
Because he went and talked about the NFA, and I don't like giving. I realize we give aid to other countries, but I don't like us giving aid and not getting anything in return other than them being our allies. And that's something we need to change as a country.
Right. Yeah, I agree. He's very, that was one of the things he said, right, with the foreign aid. He wants to cut all foreign aid. The other two, not so much. But I mean, they do want to cut some. I guess we can start on that one. What the hell? Well, actually, no. I do want to say something about the gun thing. Out of all of them, I think that he is more of like an actual gun guy. Like I could picture him being in a gun channel's chat. I looked up his Instagram after I found out who he was, and if you go back a little ways, like he's got an AR-15 that he built like last year or something. It's a Palmetto State Arms, upper and whatever. Like it's just a regular AR that he put together, just like so many of us have done.
You mean like I'm doing right now?
Right, exactly. And I know you love yourself some PSA, so.
Well, I like Palmetto State Armory and Anderson just as much, Though I'm not. I usually buy Anderson lowers and buy all the parts kits from Palmetto State Armory, and then sometimes I get parts kits from other places. And yes, we're gonna throw a little gun talk in here as we're talking about these candidates because guess what this place is called? It's called Gun Channels.
Yes, and we do like guns.
We do like our guns.
Shit, I'm only here because I heard there were going to be hookers.
By the way, Dead Horse said he's starting a new channel. He's starting the strippers and politics channel where he talks about nothing but guns, guns and ammo, and maybe some hookers. Just letting people know.
That's awesome. I would join that channel in a minute.
I would too. And yes, he was being facetious, and I know I was just making a joke.
Yeah, and again, I don't know, he's probably just giving us crap or whatever, and yes, we're not talking about guns specifically right now, but, oh well, I want to talk about it, get over it. Make your own show and talk about guns if you want.
You can't talk about John McAfee without talking about guns and hookers.
It's true.
Oh yeah, definitely. There was actually a line in there when they were talking about, should prostitution be legal or whatever, which, they all say, yeah, it should be legal because that ends up being the safest and best for, everyone in the situation. But apparently his wife was kind of forced into prostitution when she was 20 and then, was doing that for like 10 years, and he met her and helped her like get away from that lifestyle, from an abusive pimp and all this shit, and then now he's married to her. So he is definitely pro-helping hookers.
He's pro-helping hookers, and sometimes that's all that matters.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, it's a common theme with all this stuff. When you make something illegal, then the only people that, have access to it or control it or whatever is like the black market, is criminals, and then it's dangerous and not as good and all this stuff. Like, the main thing people have problems with the prostitution is how the girls are treated. But if it was a free market, if it was legal, then they'd be able to make their own rules, and then you wouldn't have people abusing them.
We'd have the hookers union.
Why isn't that a thing?
3 things. Guns, hookers, Hillary's a cunt. Because America.
Because America. That's right. Freedom. So.
Yes, sir. Freedom. Everyone likes freedom. All 3 of these candidates like freedom. So, I don't know. I guess I'll just kind of start with. I know Night Strike. You said you watched it.
Yeah, I watched it.
What were your opinions? Who did you like of the 3?
Peterson. I liked him more than anybody else. Though if I had to choose a close second, I would totally choose John McAfee, just because of the factor that he totally obfuscated that Belize question like a true politician. I think he has a chance. And yes, I am saying that
is fucking insane. If you think Trump is off the rails, McAfee is like he's on Mars or some shit, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. He's awesome as fuck, but I don't know if I'd want him for a president.
And yes, all I am saying that jokingly because I don't believe he'd be a good president at all. But compared to Hillary and Trump, probably
Yeah.
better.
Maybe we should have started with that. I will make my opinion known. Out of all three of these, I would pick them over any of the Republican or Democrats that are running right now. I think any of them were better than that. But yeah, John McAfee, he's a little spacey, man. He's got that hippie vibe kind of thing. He's a little out there.
He's spacier than Kevin
He's done
Spacey.
way too many drugs, I think.
I mean,
Like
there was
burned
a
his
point
brain
they
out.
asked. They were talking about war, and again, all three of them. That's a lot of agreeing, but all three of them were like, if we just stay out of other people's business, they won't come attack us because they won't be mad at us. And I do tend to agree with that. If someone attacks us, let's go bomb the shit out of them. And that's what we're doing with ISIS.
I think that's a great ideal, but just for the sake of counter argument, I mean, we had an isolationist policy in the past before World War II, and like Hitler and the Axis started doing all of their bullshit, and like if America hadn't entered World War II, we'd probably be living in fucking what's that Philip K. Dick novel, Man in the High Castle land now. You know what I'm saying?
And there was another one where, not to go off topic too much, but there was another movie where apparently Hitler was able to hide the whole Jewish, what do they call it, genocide? And America never joined World War II. So, good movie.
Well, he still would have had his hands full when he started attacking Russia. That kind of fucked him up, too.
Well, he made the same mistake Napoleon made. You don't attack Russia in the winter.
No, they had too many AKs. Oh, wait. This is before 7.
No, they had SVT-40s, remember?
But, anyways, getting back to this, where I started this conversation, they said about war, like, why, like, the question was kind of simple of, like, when is war justified? And, hang on. Oh, yeah, Austin Peterson said, well, when there's if there's a significant threat, which would be kind of like your World War II scenario, like that was a threat to America, it would have been eventually, then that's fine. Johnson was like, well, if someone attacks us, then we should fight back. And John McAfee's answer was, like, what is war? I don't think, we need war. Like, he was just super hippie. All I heard was, like, Dave's not here, man. What is war, dude? So I think he is a little spacey. Yeah. I started laughing when I heard him say that. I was expecting him to break out in song and just be like, "Good God, y'all, what is it good for?"
Absolutely nothing.
Sing it again.
Are you trying to say that he's like the Gary Busey of politicians?
No, not even. He's more entertaining. No, he's more entertaining than Gary Busey. I don't find Gary Busey funny at all.
Oh, that guy's just weird. Oh, man. What the hell's wrong with him?
He's crazy. And that's why people watch him. See what kind of crazy shit he's going to do next.
Yeah, well, as I said, I find, John McAfee more entertaining. Just because he's John McAfee, okay? But,
All right, cool down there. Cool your jets, Turbo.
There's no jets to be cool. That's just how it is.
All right, we get it. You love John McAfee.
No. No, if I had to choose, as I said before, if I had to choose between the three of them, I would choose Peterson. Not because, he knows it all, but because, he as he said it himself, he is the youngest, most attractive one up there.
Yeah. And that's, that was one of the things, right? I mean, everyone did kind of pick on him for being young. But for one, I think he's playing the long game. Get your name recognition out now. He might not get the nomination this time around, but
he won't.
The next couple cycles he might. And that's, I'm kind of doing the same thing when I encourage people to take a look at the libertarians. I understand the third party's not going to win this election. I do understand that. I wish they would, but I don't see it right now. But if they start getting more people and they start becoming a viable option, then it will snowball. I mean, that's everyone's biggest complaint is, oh, you're throwing your vote away. They're never going to win. Well, if you talk to 10 people and 8 of them say, I really like the person, but it's throwing your vote away, and they all end up going and voting for whoever, well, shit, they already had 80% of the people. They just don't know it.
Well, what am I trying to say here? Okay, think about this. Okay, sorta. We're kind of like a polarized nation between left or right, or collectivism versus individualism, or however you want to divide that thing in half, right? So there may be possibly a flaw in our political system where, like, a third party, a libertarian party running, would split the vote between Republicans and libertarians, thus ensuring that a socialist was elected to office every time, even if, like, the total between the other two parties were greater than the number of votes that the socialists were to get, So if we had a system of voting where we kind of ranked our candidates, where we could say, like, Gary Johnson, Trump, and then Sanders on the bottom or something, right? That would work a whole lot better than just being like, well, I'll vote for Gary Johnson, and then, like, well, Gary Johnson got 30% of the vote. Trump got 30% of the vote, but Hillary got 40%, so she wins. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of bullshitty, right?
Right, but I think
if you're following what I'm saying, that didn't make much sense. I sounded like John McAfee there or something, dude.
No, I get you. I hear what you're saying. I guess my contention with that is just that I don't believe that it's only splits the Republican Party, because I think there's a lot of Democrats that would also join. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again now because I love this quote. Penn Jillette said it. If we could convince the gun guys that the weed guys were okay, and convince the weed guys that the gun guys were okay, the Libertarian Party would be the biggest party in the country.
Well, I don't have a problem with weed. I think we should make weed, legal, and just, and anybody that's caught driving or doing anything that could get people killed, as a DUI,
Right, and I agree with that too. And I'm going to disagree with all 3 of the candidates on the drug policy now, because all 3 of them were pro legalizing all drugs. They were saying, yeah, heroin should be legal because all it does is, hurt the person using it and, whatever. And personally, I'm not ready to take that jump. I think
there's as much as I hate to kind of sound like a collectivist, there's like the whole there's like protection of society at stake here. Because I mean, like, if you get the entire populace addicted to heroin, you get a situation like with the opium wars back in the day, and that's not cool. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's not cool.
Right, and that's so I understand that, yes, if you take the ideology of personal freedom and everything to its fullest extent, then yeah, you should be pro, all drugs legal, and just trust people to make good decisions and not ruin their life. And in fact, that was something Gary Johnson brought up. What the hell country was that from? Denmark or something? I forget. But there was some other foreign country that actually they ended up giving out free heroin. So it wasn't even just that it was legal, but because it was kind of like socialist anyways, they would give free heroin to people. And he had like the chief of police or some person like came over and was at this drug policy conference or whatever. And he was saying that when they first came out, all the cops were against it. They're like, oh my God, crime's going to go up, and overdoses are going to go up, and it's going to be horrible. And what they found actually was that overdose deaths went down, crime went down, like all sorts of stuff that people say would be bad, it actually went down, and heroin use went down. So maybe there is something to be said if you just make it all legal. I don't think any of them would support giving away free heroin because that means the government would be paying for it. And they're all very clear that there should be no government spending, or at least a hell of a lot less than there is now.
Right.
So, I don't know. Maybe there's an argument to be made for that. I think a good first step is, we can look at the states that have legalized weed and bad stuff hasn't happened. So let's do it across the country. See what
I
happens.
don't have any problem with weed at all. I mean, if liquor is legal, weed ought to be legal. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. But like, I don't know. I don't know what to think about legalizing quote unquote hard drugs. I think maybe there's just not enough data on the subject to make an informed decision, and studies should be made before one takes an ideological
On the whole
direction.
making weed legal thing, where I live in the ghetto, we had pot shops out here in California. They legalized it for a while. I mean, it's still legal out here, but we had like pot shops pop up. Like I had 8 of them within like a three square mile radius. So, and I had one literally. I actually had 2 like up and down the street from where I live, and we had increased homicides, increased thefts, increased assaults, increased other drug sales. Our crime rate went through the roof. Now, granted, we're a shithole anyway. We have a lot of crime to begin with, but it made my area a lot more dangerous. So, I mean, for the responsible weed users, yes, but for the people that are just out there because wherever there's a weed place, you're going to have people running other drugs in that area too. I mean, I don't have a problem with weed by itself, people using weed recreationally. I have a problem with the after effects it has on the local community around it.
But do you think that is happening because there are other places where it is still illegal, so it's attracting like a certain element towards the part where it is legal? Or do you think that it really is, there's some type of connection there? I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not a freaking...
No, because, I mean, people aren't moving in out of state to do this stuff. I mean, the whole theory of it is like, okay, cool, you're going to open up, it'll be income. It was actually one of the main revenue sources for the state for at least a year. But unfortunately, the criminal element attracted to it. Like, especially in lower income areas or, ghetto areas, and because of that, you had rivalries, you had people trying to, I mean, it was just, the amount of crime went skyrocketed through the roof for the area that those stores were in. And you never find those stores, like around here, you never find them in good parts of the neighborhood, like good, like suburban, middle class, upper middle class areas. They don't pop up there. They pop up in the ghetto because that's where the main source of their revenue comes from. And then, of course, you have other issues. So, I mean, just by living through it, I mean, I know when they closed down the 2 weed shops by my place, just up like within like, I don't know, 4 blocks, the crime rate in my area went down. Just by closing those 2 in my area became a lot safer. So, I mean, legalizing the drug, yeah, that's cool, but legalizing it, and this is where you come into that whole balance. You're going to have some sort of regulation on it, otherwise, or increase police activity in the area. Either way, it's government spending. So, if you legalize it all the way across the board, and you sell it at, like Chris Rock says, you sell it at 7-Eleven and you buy a pack of single weed, cool. But where they have to have specialized shops for it, I don't know. It attracts the wrong element.
I had never heard that perspective before. That's interesting. You would think now that we have a couple of states that have done it. I wonder if maybe someone can do a study of those areas, and maybe not at state level, but like you said, on a local level, and see maybe there is something to that. So
Absolutely.
Like I said, I'm just going by what I've seen and experienced where I live.
oh, exactly, and that I understand. Yeah, it is only anecdotal evidence, but you add all the anecdotal evidence up, and if you can quantify it somehow, someone can do a study and say, well, actually, it does end up being bad. I personally am not convinced of that, but that's because I haven't seen it. Of course, it's not legal where I'm at, so I don't know what would happen. My hypothesis is still, if it was across the board, like you said, in every 7-Eleven, then you wouldn't have that problem because people would just get it wherever they wanted. And I think total use would actually go down because it just wouldn't be as enticing anymore.
Well, it's the same. I mean, you got to look at then again, on the flip side, you got to look at the whole. Oh crap! I can't think of the freaking word. When we banned the alcohol back in the 20s.
Prohibition.
That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. Again, people are going to drink, whether they're happy, whether they're sad, whether they're mad, whether they're depressed. People are always going to want to drink, and not everybody's going to, but people are going to want it. But when you ban it, like you said, only like the people in charge of like the black market, or in that situation, like mafia, organized crime families, and things like that, they control it. Then it becomes way more dangerous. So, but when we got rid of it and we opened it up, I don't know if there's less alcoholism than there was back then, but there's definitely a lot less violent crime. So, if you want to legalize weed, legalize it to the point where it can be packaged, marketed, and then sold in stores everywhere, rather than just at specific locations. I think the whole medical marijuana thing is kind of like bad juju.
Yeah, well, it's the thing with that is everyone knows it's a front. It's just a false thing. They're like, well, we can't do it all the way, so wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Just say that you have backaches, and we'll give it to you. That type of thing.
And we'll meet you halfway.
Yeah, I think I don't think that's the right way to go. I think it's just say what you mean. You want it legal for recreational, and I think there shouldn't be a problem with that. But they're trying to go half steps or whatever. But that kind of reminded me of something that Austin Peterson said. They were kind of talking about immigration and whatnot, and he tied it in with the drug war, saying that, and of course, now he's pro, all drugs being legal, which, again, like I said, I'm not all that way, but he basically said if you made drugs legal, the violence at the border would go down because these cartels wouldn't have the power anymore. There'd be no reason to bring stuff in from Mexico because we'd already have it all here. And so these people wouldn't be fighting over turf, and they wouldn't be killing people and all this stuff because they wouldn't have
true.
Well, it might be, it might not. This is his hypothesis of what would happen. And you figured they got power because it was illegal, so you'd think if they made it legal, they would lose power. And I've already seen reports on stuff that they are losing money on the weed traffic, even with just the few states we have, and the medical stuff that some people can get it here, and so they're focusing on harder drugs. But honestly, the market for harder drugs is smaller than the market for marijuana. So it's not as profitable as it once was. Oh, all right. But anyway, so what other topic do we want to talk about?
All right.
Go for it, Knight.
Okay. You know how they were going on about Gary Johnson, or not Gary Johnson, but John McAfee dodging the whole Belize thing like a champ. What was up with Gary Johnson going over there and giving him a kiss on the cheek? What was up with that? Come on.
I don't know, because they mentioned that. I don't know. There's probably people going, "What the hell are you talking about?" Right? So he was in Belize, and apparently, they were trying to get him for like making like black market pharmaceutical drugs or something, and then
I don't think he was.
Right, and then he got he was a person of interest in like his neighbor's murder, And he was very clear to say, I was never charged with murder. They never charged me. And it's because he escaped and went to a different country. That's why he never got charged. But anyways, I think it was when John Stossel said, yeah, and, you explain all this stuff, and you ran away from there, and you're a fugitive from the law. And he's like, yep, they never caught me. And Gary Johnson came over, gave him a hug, and kissed him on the cheek. I think that's because he was, like, giving him props for being a fugitive from a corrupt government. Because John McAfee's point of view was, the government asked me to give them, like, $2 million, and I didn't want to do it. So I left the country, because then they raided his house and killed his dog, and so he left. And that's why he's a fugitive from the law. So I think that's why he did it. I thought it was strange as well.
I'd have respected him more if he slipped him the tongue.
You see? Heavy B knows what he's talking about.
There was a lot of gay vibes going on there. He made a joke saying, well, hell, I met Austin in a gay bar. And, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was a joke, but there's a lot of homosexual tension there. Which, by the way, as long as we talk about that, they are all pro-gay rights. There's something different, though. Let's see. Okay. Johnson says
they're all pro-rights, period.
Well, sure.
Doesn't matter if it's just gay or straight or whatnot. They're pro everyone's rights.
Right. There was one of them. I had to look at my notes here. Austin Peterson's one of these ones. He doesn't want like gay marriage rights. He wants the government to be completely out of marriage altogether. So he wants to kind of
because we're supposed to be living in a constitutionally limited secular republic, right? So marriage is a religious institution. So the government, in my opinion, should just fuck right off, no matter whether the people getting married are like gay or straight or like attack helicopters. You know what I'm saying?
Attack helicopter.
2016.
Attack. I just saw a thing today where someone was like, "I identify as an attack helicopter. You're offensive to me." That was funny as hell. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. I don't know. I don't know where I stand on that, because part of me is like, yeah, I agree. Like, just let it be, a personal contract. That's basically what a marriage is. You are agreeing that, hey, all my stuff is our stuff. All of your stuff is our stuff. And, we're going to share everything. And then there's things to deal with when you split up. And you have to work that out.
And after we simplify the tax code and implement a flat tax, we don't have to screw around with, marriage deductions and shit like that. So that won't matter anymore.
Yay!
So then what about, all of the divorce law stuff then? You think that's all just it's like
you want to get married... You want to get married, you go to church, you get married, you get a marriage certificate from your church or whatever. It's not legally binding at the government level. It's a religious thing. You want to get divorced, you get the dispensation of whatever, power you believe in to get divorced, and, you're whatever, right? It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but how then do you figure out, who gets the fair share in a divorce? I understand we're going down a rabbit hole here, but I'm curious because I haven't thought about this a lot.
That depends on whether you live in a commonwealth. That depends on whether you live in a commonwealth state or not. And in commonwealth states like Virginia, they have laws like whether you're married or not, if you've cohabitated for X number of years, the Commonwealth kicks in, and if, shit goes down, you can go to court and get shit split in half, by the justice system. I think that's bullshit. I think commonwealths are bullshit, but, that is in place in some states.
So do you think the state has any say in how wealth is divided, or does that all have to be worked out, civilly on a person-to-person basis? Because I think if you get government out of marriage, then you have to get them out of divorce as well, which means if you get a certificate from whatever religious thing or fucking, I don't know, tree in the middle of the forest, I don't care what you believe in or whatever, I'm cool with whatever. So you get that and you're like, okay, cool, we're married now, and then you split up. who decides who gets what stuff? How do you figure that out?
I don't know. That is kind of complicated.
Based off the church too. Shouldn't your church decide that as well? If they're going to be the ones who govern your marriage, or enter you into a marriage agreement or whatever. And this is what the problem is they start making marriage more of a contract than a religious thing. And okay, what about those people who don't have religious beliefs? How are they supposed to get married?
Well, if you don't have religion, what do you need to get married for? If you're not doing it for tax reasons.
There are other
people that are quote unquote, well, not a lot, but a few, more than two handful, couples that are claiming to be atheist and they're still married. So I mean,
that means they went. They either went through a justice of the peace, or I don't know if you know this, but a notary can also marry you.
Or a sea captain.
No,
I'm actually.
All you have to do to get to be able to marry somebody is go online and fill it out.
No,
yeah, you can fill out this thing and
become an ordained minister.
Yeah, exactly that.
And that's because as of where we are right now, there are a lot of legal things, and it's not just tax related. There are other legal benefits to being married that the state recognizes. Hey, these two people are together, therefore they have different rights or different things that they can do that pertain to that. And then these other two people we don't recognize as being married because they haven't gotten the certificate yet. So if you take the power completely away from the state and say, well, it's a religious thing, like I said, I'm inclined to kind of agree with that, but I just see a lot of problems that pop up on how you then deal with legal problems that right now is already in the law. So I do think, at least how it is now, the easier way is just let gay people get married in the state's eye. Let them have a legal contract as well. And I don't care if, wherever they go.
We're getting a little off topic here about the libertarians, so.
Yeah, that's true. We are.
Yeah, let's kind of rein it back in because, I know we got a lot of gun guys here, and they can care less about whether some guy.
Topic.
They could care less whether about some guy is gay and gets married to another guy or not. Let's.
Or an attack helicopter.
We could talk
Well,
about.
I don't know. I don't know. Everybody could probably get behind the whole attack helicopter thing, but.
Yeah, I kind of want to associate as an attack helicopter now. I thought that was pretty clever.
Yeah, I kind of do too, but that's neither here nor there.
Or maybe instead, maybe an A-10.
Okay, here's a question. Since we're talking about the libertarians and whatnot, what did you think about their policy on I know we went over this, but on war. Let's go a little in depth on that because I like how Peterson said, well, we shouldn't go to war unless, Congress, or the Senate approves it because that's how it's supposed to be done. I applauded him for that. Now, with we all know that the hippie in the group, McAfee, he tried to say, well, what is war? Defining it as a conflict between two countries, and that's what it is. But the issue is, we've not been attacked by a traditional country in what, years? I mean, when's the last time another country has attacked the United States directly, the home?
Probably would have been when Japan invaded Alaska during World War II, right?
No, I think it was a little further back when they went and they bombed Pearl Harbor. But that's the point. That's the last time.
Is the answer.
That's the last time we've been attacked as a country from another country. Nowadays it's terrorism, and they kind of delved into the topic of terrorism, but they didn't want to touch that topic too much. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that the executive does have entirely too much discretionary power over making war, even if you can't technically call it war. And we need to rein that in and require the blessing of Congress in order to invade another state. By that I mean foreign country. But I also don't believe in isolationism. I do think that we need to protect American interests abroad, but we need to do that with the blessing of Congress rather than just at the president's whim.
It's a very good point. Smeggy, what do you think?
I don't know. That's another one of my fluid ideals. I don't know exactly where I stand. I think that all the candidates made the point of if we wouldn't have gotten involved over there in the first place, there wouldn't be the terrorists attacking us, and that may or may not be true.
That's kind of a hindsight situation.
That's actually not even close to being true because they've been waging their holy war against Western civilization or European
those dudes have been
for thousands of years. So,
but yeah, those dudes have been killing people that don't believe the same thing that they do since before Westernism was even a thing.
Yeah, well, it's not just that. I mean, it's every major religion has started. Well, not every, but several of the major religions have started wars based off religion. So you can't really go into that. Well, if we would have never gone over there and done anything, well, if they would have never done anything to us, we wouldn't have gone over there in the first place. I think if we were to just sit there and, all right, somebody wants to go to war with us, terrorists or a country, let the dog off the leash, man. Let the military do its thing. If we go over there and we stomp some major ass in a very, very aggressive way, then people are going to be less apt to want to pick a fight with us. And it's unfortunately that a lot of we have to establish ourselves as the alpha, and we're trying to put too many rules in the game.
That's the problem is that they're intermixed with all the civilians and whatnot, and we're trying not to attack cities. We're trying to attack people. So you have to find just the right person, and that was something actually McAfee said that scared me a bit. He said what we need to do to fix terrorism is have better intelligence. We have the technology to figure out the phone calls and blah blah blah. Now he says he's against like the NSA mass data kind of stuff, but in the same breath he was saying we can track them down based on what they use on their phone or whatever. And that was a little scary to me.
Man, the hipsters bitch.
Go ahead, Polecat.
The hipsters bitch and moan about Western imperialism, but the fact is, the places where Western countries have gone in and protected their interests, like say South Korea, for example. South Korea is a great place. North Korea, which didn't get quote unquote Western imperialism, is a fucking shithole, and that's how it looks everywhere else that these types of things have happened. Every time that we have gone somewhere and then pulled out, it's turned into a shithole, like Iraq, etc. But when we've left people there, it's turned into a nice place because Westernism is nice. It's not imperialist. That's a bunch of fucking commie bullshit. There, I said it. Sorry.
I approve that. Commie bullshit. It's not.
Yeah, it's fucked up. But yeah, seriously, man. I mean, if we go into something in anything, we just need to let the dog off the leash. Let the military do its thing. Keep the politicians out of it, and just be mean, cruel, and rotten while we're there. Because if we're mean, cruel, and rotten while we're there, they're going to be less apt to want to pick a fight with us. Other countries will and they will say
and finish the mission instead of pulling out halfway through, like you're trying to not get somebody pregnant or some bullshit.
I mean, go in and do what you got to do. And if the populace wants to help, let the populace help by staying the hell out of the way. Let the populace help by pointing out the targets instead of hiding these people. I mean.
Well, I definitely agree with that. They need to fight for their own country. We'll help them, but they need to fight because it's their neighbors. It's like we're going into a completely different neighborhood and saying, okay, who's the bad guy? And the dude's like, oh, it's my next door neighbor, but I haven't done anything to stop him. I'm like, no, I'll fucking help you. Let's both go over there together and we'll stop him.
It may not even come down to that. I mean, all right, you get into a fight with somebody. You can't be the nice guy if you get into a fight with somebody, because nowadays, generally, if you get into a scrap, like say you're getting mugged or whatever, you can't be the nice guy. You got to overcome with violence. You got to be so effective that that person either one wants to quit and run away, two, you end it by ending the opponent, and the third effect is that the surrounding element sees that your violence is so that you're willing to be so violent that it deters them from wanting to attack you. You just, and I mean, innocent people get caught up in this shit and it sucks. I mean, there's no real defined answer. But if we're going to go in there, why are we putting restrictions on our people? I mean, what's the quickest, I mean, it just seems logical to me that if somebody starts shit with you and you end it hard and fast and very violently, that issue is going away. And several other issues that sees what's going on is going to go away too.
Well, there you go. Mic drop.
Mic drop.
I didn't mean to kill the chat.
No, that's great. So
That's a great thing. All right, guys. I think it's time for a daily patch giveaway.
Oh shit!
Is that kind of like on that note?
Maybe, but I don't want to get sued by Never Enough Ammo, so I'm gonna say it's time.
he stole my people singing opening statement, so we can steal something from him.
No,
I'm still waiting on my 25 cents.
You think you're gonna be waiting for a long while? All right, Smegs, I am going to let you do the patch giveaway. Remember to make it an April patch.
All right. How the hell do I
We're
want
going to give an April patch. We're not going to just give away just any regular DPG patch.
We're giving away the soul patch.
No,
Right.
no, that stays.
How do we want to do a April patch? Do.
Just give one out.
Well, I don't know. I like making people work for it. But I don't know.
Just pick somebody and give it to them.
Demand sexual favors.
I don't know.
100 Smeggy.
All right. Let's give it to Conrad. He seems to be pretty active in the chat.
Or something.
Yeah, I forget what his other stuff is. It's Conrad von Vakaboo or whatever. I don't remember what the thing is.
It's Conrad von Conrad is what it is.
Oh, is it? I thought it was
No.
von Gaka.
It's von whatever it is. But yeah, Conrad, go to gunchannels.com/DPG and just note that you want the April patch, and you'll get the April patch. If you don't want the April patch, well, I guess you could ask for a different patch, but it's April. Why not?
Exactly. And
So
on an update, I still haven't bought an AK, so everyone, go ahead and give me shit now. But there's still plenty of time in the month, so leave me alone.
I'm still building my AK, and the problem is I'm building an AR-15 right now because it's much, much easier. I'm putting it off because, the riveting
That's
man.
sacrilege. I mean, I don't think you're allowed to build an AR during AK Pro.
Well, AR Pro.
No, don't start that crap.
I know, I'm just messing. But yeah, I'm building another AR, so you know how it goes.
Maybe you could do like Argist or something.
No, it's August. Stare August.
There you go.
Anyways, but that one's too easy.
Anyway, that was fun. Well, I hope we didn't bore anyone too much. I know we went down the rabbit hole a little bit on some of those, but
It should be AR.
Anyway, but Smegs, I the entire time I had the little Abe Lincoln zombie with the tinfoil hat on. So We're good. I think it's time. We're gonna call it now. I want to thank Heavy B for showing up.
Thanks for having me, and sorry for killing the chat there at the end.
You didn't kill it. It was dying anyways. It was dying fast. And Polecat, thanks for sticking around for the entire chat. I didn't think you were going to. You mentioned you weren't.
Oh, you know how it is. I start thinking about politics and I get mad, and that wakes me up.
I don't know why you need to get mad because they just voted open carry in West Virginia. You've got open carry now.
Yeah, but there's always something that the bureaucracy's doing to piss a man off. You know how they are.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And Smegs, thanks for showing up and thanks for giving us your musical stylings and yeah, thanks for the topic tonight.
Wow, he's speechless.
If he's speechless, and that's it.
I guess so. Smeggy, say something, brother. Are you alive? Did you die? Did somebody attack you? Are you being raped by a farm animal?
Or is it two farm animals?
Those geese can be vicious, man.
Oh, I know. Yes, we are just messing around. All right. If Smegs doesn't come back, I think I'm just gonna kill it and turn it off.
I don't think he's coming back.
I don't think he is either. All right, Smegs.
One.
Goodbye, Internet.
It's probably the internet.
All right, Smegs,
Oh.
I'm turning it off now. Wait, there you go. You unmuted it. No, wait. Yeah,
We lost him.
We lost him. Maybe he'll show back up.
Why? So you can say, "Oh, he's back." Okay, it's over.
Bye, everyone.
All right, there we go.
Hey.
I was sitting there talking. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Now we can have the musical outro at least, right?
Yeah, go for it. Do something, Smegs.
All right. I guess I'll do some heavy metal.